And we are live coming at you with session 74 of our Drown Gods campaign. No Akalupa notes today, but we will get started as always. Everyone, please reset your hero point pools to 1. And who would like to give the recap for next hero point? All right. Okay, go for it.
Last session was extremely dramatic. It was an episode of Maury Povich. So we were just hanging out in the marketplace, and Ip was like, "What's up with all of these collars?" And Delphine told him a little bit more about the slave culture in Darhan, which you decided was the city name.
I did finally name it.
Yes. I traded some of my very valuable elixirs for food, so we're not going to starve to death on the boat, which is nice.
Yeah.
While we were at the market, a raiding party returned from raiding some other underwater civilization, which we were like, oh dang, underwater civilizations are really like frequent and populous, like compared to probably, you know, the overworld civilizations that we've experienced.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, just given the difference in like livable space, there are probably more undersea, so you know, creatures of a similar level of like intelligence and civilization as you on land.
Right, just like how Earth would be if we had mermaids. If there was sentient, you know, like, or not sentient, because I guess like dolphins and octopuses are sentient, but there's a word for that where you can like have sapient? A civilization. Yes, that's the word. Anyway, so we were like, oh man, there's a lot of people. Like we saw more people in the raiding party that were returning than we've probably ever seen in one place at one time.
Well, except for the fact that cool. You were in like the city itself is a whole level of culture shock where, you know, this the back of the crab is a city that would be much less dense, but in terms of like size, it would be comparable to a mid-sized city like in modern times, while where you're from is like, you know, a little village in the, you know, the end of nowhere.
Right. So because of that, we were able to seamlessly blend in with like the revelers who were following the raiding party, who were on their way to like pay tithes to the Khan. And we were like, oh, that's good because that's where Delphine's mom lives anyway, is where the Khan lives. And so as we were getting kind of closer, Delphine gave us a little bit more of her backstory about how her father, the previous Khan, was killed by the current Khan, who's kind of a dick and doesn't like her. And her mother was a matriarch, was the title, under her biological father, and now is remaining a matriarch under the current Khan and has a son with him. So she's got a half brother. So we get to the palace thing, the big main content, and Delphine reunites with her mother, which is awesome because her mom's like, oh my gosh, I thought you were dead. But then the Khan shows up and is like, oh, so now here you are, and like is really mean to her, and she loses her temper with him and says, you cheated when you fought my father anyway, and you shouldn't be Khan. And he was like, wow, how dare you say that to me in my house? You're banished. You're not a merlady anymore. You're nothing. You're dirt. Get out of here. Yeah. And she bails on us. Oh, somebody else needs to finish this because Pizza Man is calling me. I'll be right back.
All right. I can wrap it up unless someone else wants to. All right, then I will go ahead. Sure.
Sure. So, thanks to Mono Anui's excellent memory, and helped along by her healthy dose of what's what I'm looking for? Healthy dose of suspicion. There we go. I almost said superstition. I'm like, that is 100% not the right word.
No, you were described as a suspicious AH.
That's right. That's right. So a healthy dose of suspicion. Mono marked all of our turns. And so when the time came that we had to get out, left our own devices in the middle of this ginormous pavilion, we were able to make it out. And then good old Poi Pip was like, hey guys, kind of like really good at this whole magic thing. So I'm going to cast this magic spell that's going to allow me to find our good friend, Delphine. And he does.
Yeah,
we follow him.
Turned out to be pretty clutch.
It was pretty dang clutch, because like I don't know how we're gonna find her otherwise. Or our ship. We go back, we kinda talk with her, we kinda go over it all. We're like, yeah, you really have no future here. You should just come with us and be another member of our crew. And she's like, sounds game.
Join our cult, not cult.
Yeah, exactly. It's an adventuring crew. It's not a cult yet. No, the death cult has not yet started.
Right. Matawanui is still deciding what the robes should be like first.
Exactly. No, we gotta get if the style's not on point, then no one's gonna want to join, right? Like
exactly.
Look, I'm not yeah, it's gonna make a reference to like Heaven's Gate, and I was like, it might be in poor taste. I'm just saying, they weren't the stylish people, and consequently, you
saw how that ended. Yeah, everyone saw how that ended.
Exactly. We're gonna end differently, probably. When the cult starts. Anywho, then we all decide that we're going to go back up to the ship, and that's where you might get me. Child, she's in the curtain. That's when we decide to go back, and I think that's where we ended.
Yep. Yeah, we ended with you guys surfacing not too far away from the ship, with the setting sun silhouetting the ship off behind you dramatically. Are you back yet, Molly?
I don't think she is.
No. All right. Well, not a big deal. Only major thing that I wanted to call out that got missed was that when Delphine got upset and called out the current Khan, her fire powers activated, where she's been kind of like messing around with bits of fire here and there, but her aura has been purely water, and she hasn't been comfortable controlling fire very much. And it's been very limited. During her calling out her father, her fire powers activated and were actually incorporated into her aura. And she actually, as this was happening, made even him nervous. But then it seems that it was too much for her to handle, and she ended up breaking down, just coughing hoarsely. And that's when the Khan kind of sensed his moment to take back initiative, and slapped her across the room and etc. Yeah, just wanted to call out that one thing. Otherwise, it was a pretty good recap. When Molly gets back, I'll try to remember to let her know to give herself a hero point. Abe, go ahead and give yourself one as well. And yeah, we will pick up from where we left off. So you guys are all currently in the water, not too far from your ship. You can see it right there. I'm going to assume that you had set it down, or at least have some, I don't know, it's up to you whether you had Burn Bright set it down in the water or it's floating. He would have just done whatever he was told to in that front. But yeah. I assume you want to swim on over.
I was gonna say, I would assume that we had it in the water, that we're not like burning energy when we don't need to.
Yeah. Makes sense. All right, so it's in the water. You guys surface. You notice immediately that you cannot breathe air, which, Matawanui, you would remember from when you were rescued by Delphine during the big storm not too long ago. But this transformation does swap it where you can breathe water, but you can no longer breathe air. So you'll want to be ducking back underwater before too long to swim on over.
Matawanui is gonna like motion for everybody to like, hey y'all, let's like get in the water and then go back underwater. and start swimming.
All right. The sea, now that the storm has passed, is largely pretty clear, I think. What is the current weather? Okay, so I guess it's not super clear. It is the last vestiges of the rain are kind of still hanging in the air, so that explains the, big beautiful red sunset. And winds are a bit unfavorable, but not too strong. But yeah, so you're able to pretty easily just dip back underwater, swim on over. And one by one, Dolphine will undo the transformations that you can pop up and climb on overboard. You might want to... Yeah, who's going first?
Mono Inui, she knows the drill. She's gonna go first.
All right. So yeah, you do indeed know the drill. So she kind of just it's a touch spell essentially. So she will make some contact with you, and then you'll feel the...
Oh, Mono Inui was gonna like lean in for a kiss because she thought that's how things were like activated.
So you do know, I mean, you can do that. I'm not saying you shouldn't. But your Mono Inui does know that it was undone previously without a kiss, and that it was done this time, like put on you this time without a kiss. But I am definitely not trying to stop you. I just want to make sure that you're aware of what your character knows.
Mono Inui's just gonna do it anyway because it's shocking. It's provocative. So
there's what she knows, and then there's what she feels.
So you go in for the kiss, and this time it's Dolphine's turn to go wide-eyed and surprised. But it's I wouldn't call it particularly passionate, but she doesn't pull away, and you do feel the transformation undoing itself across your body. And then as you draw away, she kind of looks down into the side a bit unsure of the situation, but you only have a few moments to really appreciate it before you probably want to be getting back up where you can breathe again.
Oh yeah, no, 100%.
And you're able to grab a hold of some, I'm sure there's some netting or other rope that you've set up on the side so that you could get back on the boat easily.
Kind of picture it as like an inbuilt ladder, like little like boards attached to the side.
You can if you would like. I wouldn't suggest anything permanent, because then anything that wants to swim out of the ocean and climb onto your boat can at any time easily.
That's a good point.
So
I guess I'm gonna climb up whatever burn bright's like tossed into the sea.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. I'm assuming that there's some sort of like rope netting or ladder or something that's there. Are you calling out that you've arrived, or are you just crawling back on board?
Oh, I'm coming back on board.
All right. Go ahead and give me a reflex save.
Yeah, I had a feeling, but you gotta make sure everyone's on their toes.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
What kind of captain would you be?
Exactly. I got a 15.
All right.
Which is actually not good because my reflex save is a +10. So.
That's not terrible though. That's fairly below average. But yeah. So as your head is cresting over the top, you just barely duck away in time as a cooking pot is swung over your head, and you hear Gur's voice going, "Away, foul sea beast!" That's not what Gur sounds like. "Away, foul sea beast! I shall destroy you and steal your insides. I hope they're as shiny as the last fish I gutted."
No, come on. Oh,
I remember where he got that coin from.
Oh, that's right. You got it from a fish.
Yep.
Hey, it's just me. I'm not a sea beast.
Who's me? Declare yourself.
Mono Inui, the captain of the ship.
Oh, Mono Inui. Okay.
Yep. In can.
All All right, there's no more swinging of cutlery, so it appears that you're safe.
She's gonna look around and see if she can see where Burn Bright is. I think you're on mute, baby. Oh, okay.
All right. Finding Burn Bright is not at all difficult. In fact, shortly after your quick exchange with Gurr, Burn Bright has already come over. Is like, Gurr, I told you like not to swing first and ask questions later. Come on. And he's trying to like get Gurr away from the edge so that he's no longer a threat.
I'm gonna clamber over the side and say, well,
oh man, your cheeks look kind of flushed. Are you feeling all right? Like, oh, it's just I swam hard.
I've been swimming for a while.
Oh yeah, it's a good exercise. It's good for the body, right?
I suppose. Well, it's good to see that you guys are keeping on top of things.
Yeah, Burn Bright has gone through with what he said. He is essentially like in swim shorts, and nothing else. He's not too bad looking. You know, he's got that unicorn blood in him, so you know, it's just a 6-pack and some, you know, nice bronzed skin. So.
Is he turning red seeing Mono Anui again?
What was that?
I said, is he turning red seeing Mono Anui again? Or has he gotten over?
A little bit. He's definitely gotten a bit less awkward around Mono Anui. But he certainly doesn't seem to like fully appreciate his state of undress. Either. He probably just doesn't care in terms of like how much clothes he's wearing.
I forgot. Are we technically like soaked? If so, Mono Anui's gonna go.
Yeah, you would definitely be fully soaked.
Okay. Yeah. Mono Anui's like, well, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to go get into some dry clothing.
What color of a shirt does Mono Anui have?
LOL.
Da da da.
Don't worry about
Anna, you
it.
perv.
So yeah, that's probably a good idea. You know, dry off. You look good though. Or never mind, ignore me. I want to help everyone else. All right.
Everybody's going to suppress a comment about how it's not a change of state.
Ba-ba-ba.
That ignoring. I mean.
Well.
Hold on one second.
All right. So everyone else is pretty easily able to go ahead and clamber up. Now that Burn Bright is aware that everyone's here, he'll help everyone over the railing. And Dolphine, of course, goes last since she needs to undo all of the transformations. But everyone is able to clamber back aboard, and seemingly no worse for wear. Burn Bright does have a similar comment for Dolphine about how she looks kind of red, but she also tries to play it off. We are finally.
Did we all see Mono Anui go in for the kiss and then climb back on board, and we were all like, well, that was weird, and then just got a normal way to get rid of the enchantment?
That's a good question. Mono Anui, how far ahead were you? Were you trying to make this a little bit secretive, where kind of harder to spot through the murky water? Might have been a trick of the eyes.
I'm terribly sorry. I just went to lay my child back down. What am I concealing?
So the question was whether or not everyone saw you kiss Dolphine on the way up.
Oh, well, Mono Anui's not going to actively try and hide it.
All right.
Yeah, because she thinks it's normal.
Yeah, then everyone would have seen it.
There you go.
That's hilarious.
Everyone's like, I guess this is how you get undone.
Akaluku can be the person who was going next because I mean he's probably always right behind Mono.
Fair.
And is very much blushes very hard when he walks up and is like awkwardly kind of slowly starts to lean in.
Yeah, so Dolphine is like, oh, that's not actually necessary if you
ready this
don't want
time.
to.
Oh, well, I mean, phew. I mean, like, not like phew. Like you're, can I go now?
Yeah, I think Manoa Nui, well, I kind of acted on instinct when I saved her from drowning during that storm. And, I wasn't fully sure what I was doing. I just kind of went for it, but I figured it out since then. It seems to be that I'm able to do it through any physical contact.
Nice. That totally makes sense. I'm not questioning what I just saw my stepmom, but it's fine. All right, you know what? High five. Let's go.
Right. So awkward handshake for the transformation this time. She's like, yes, this works. All right.
I'd like to speechlessly just like underwater wander towards Delphine, like just mouth agape and just like slowly extend my hand for a handshake. No words.
So Delphine just super awkwardly laughs and she grabs your hand and then pulls you in and kind of does just like a friendly hug. It's like, oh my gosh, you guys are so funny.
Now I'm blushing from the hug and I get back on board.
Yeah. What about you, Ip? You coming through last?
I'm all business.
Yeah.
This is no joking matter.
Exactly. So she also, puts on a serious face, puts, one hand on each of your shoulders and stares you dead in the eye as she transforms you back. Then she smiles and she pats you on the butt as you go up.
Good game.
Exactly. All right. So yeah, everyone is now back on board. And seemingly none the worse for wear. Mako, I'm sure you go ahead and deposit your stores, or probably just hand them to Ip. He's the quartermaster, so should be his role to put them away.
I don't think so. My alchemy stuff is my stuff.
No, the fish and stuff that you bought.
Oh yes.
Or traded for.
I thought you meant my other potions.
Nah.
No, the food for sure is Ip's responsibility. I give that to him, ask if he wants my help to bring it to the kitchen.
What, you don't think I could do it myself? I'll deposit this fish right in your...
Just shove it into his arms and head off to change into dry clothes as well.
Smart. Just like, I'm not dealing with whatever this is.
I don't have time for this.
Exactly. All right. So you guys have a choice. You can still go overnight and try to make a half day's progress, or you can kind of just chill and pick things up back in the morning. I'm sure Manowanui and Mako, you guys do a once over just to make sure that Burn Bright hasn't, burnt down half the boat and then tried to hide it. And it is it is in fact still in good working order. Everything seems to be as you would expect. It does seem that that Burn Bright had to take care of a few little messes that Gur had made, but that's just par for the course. That's every day on the boat.
And he handled it. Good for him.
Exactly.
Mono is gonna, in her mind, his respect meter's gonna go up a little bit.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, other than like Gurr making a couple of messes and like, he tried to stab me once, but yeah, who hasn't he tried to stab, right? So I was like, whatever. But yeah, other than that, it was pretty calm. The storm is like still subsiding and all, and there was like a couple tentacles poking out of the water at one point, but I'm pretty sure that's fine.
I'm sorry. You wanna like run that back real quick?
Yeah, like everything was fine.
No, I mean about like the tentacles.
Oh yeah. There was at one point there were like these big old tentacles that were like, I don't know, like the size of a person's leg coming out of the water, and they were kind of just like splashing around a little bit. I think they maybe caught a bird at one point. I wasn't paying that much attention to them. They kind of left the ship alone. I was like, whatever, live and live, man, right?
Did she get a description from Dolphine about what Krakens look like?
I don't think you asked. She did talk about how they like were known to wrap their tentacles around boats and pull them under and some stuff like that. So you're vaguely aware, like you would at least know that they were tentacled of some kind. But in terms of like what color are they, what size are their tentacles, I don't think there's any of that kind of detail.
Well, I feel like that's enough information from Mono and Rage. Like, well, how many days ago was that?
Was what? Was him seeing the tentacles?
Yeah.
That was while you were gone today.
Oh, we've only been gone for like less than a day?
Yes. You left in the morning and you were back in the evening. So it has been one day. You didn't you talked about potentially getting, an inn or something like that, but you didn't end up needing it. So it's only been a day.
Someone got banished before we could.
Pretty much.
Yeah, we wasted no time almost being sold into slavery and getting kicked out of being a princess. So.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, out of character, I was trying to take it a little slower, but you were all just like, Dolphine, don't you need to go find your family? Shouldn't you go there right now? Shouldn't we be headed there? And I was like, okay.
Yeah, I feel like that's a reasonable thing to think.
We wanted to meet her mom.
Oh, no, it makes perfect sense. I'm just explaining why everything happened so quickly.
Oh, absolutely.
All right, Mono Inui is going to. All right, with that information in mind, I think we are going to keep on sailing for tonight. As long as that's okay with the helmsman.
Yeah, I'm gonna need to go to sleep overnight. But that's what we usually do when we go.
Yeah.
When we sail overnight, is I just set the course and then somebody else drives the boat.
All right. Well, east it is.
Okay, so let me check again. Wind is unfavorable, so we will just round your progress overnight into what you make tomorrow, because you will not make a half square's distance just tonight. So
that is A-okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Mono Inui is not going to stay around to become Kraken food.
Right. And at least this way you will be A, not in the same spot that you were, and B, 10 feet above the water. Or 5 feet? I think you stay 5 feet.
Exactly. Let's do 10 feet.
You can. You can if you'd like to. But that will completely drain your batteries by morning.
Yeah. I guess we better stick to 5.
Yeah, wrong choice, Captain.
Yeah, you guys need to get some more batteries.
I know. We need to find more of those bullets.
The bullets are just used for the actual lift on the ship. The batteries are used to store energy were alchemical creations that Molly made with the help of Burn Bright and Sunbeam. However, they did require certain materials that were fairly rare that you scavenged from your previous island, so you didn't have really enough to make more without spending a significant amount of time gathering more materials. But
we did the best we could, damn it.
Exactly. But very much like the expectation is that there's room for you to upgrade your ship as you go.
Yeah, maybe next time we have landfall.
Yeah. Hopefully there will be some friendly natives.
He said ominously.
Ooh. All right. So yeah, you guys go ahead and wrap up. Are Burn Bright and Ip still mostly running the night shifts so that Monoanui can, have more free time, or what is the plan for the night? Obviously, Dolphine isn't going to sleep either way, so she can do something.
She can stand, watch, and if she sees a kraken, yell, "Kraken!"
Release the Kraken!
Yeah, since she's the only one that actually knows what kind of signs to look for. Although I guess maybe she wouldn't know what signs to look for on the surface, but she would at least know what she's looking for. You know what I mean? Like if she sees the tentacle, she'd be like, "I know what that is."
Yeah. All right, sounds like a plan. So who is taking first watch? Here's the question is, Ip, are you taking first or second watch? Because Burn Bright will take the other.
I'll take first watch.
All right, go ahead and give me a perception check.
Second, just making sure my hands aren't all greasy.
Gotta keep those dice clean.
Rolled it under my key. What's my perception? A 21.
Nice. All right. Let me go ahead and roll for Dolphine as well, just since she's here. All right. Oh wow, she got a nat 20. 27. All right. So the two of you definitely keeping a good eye out. Yeah, you don't notice anything terribly unusual. The storm is kind of continuing to recede, even though we'll roll on weather tomorrow and we'll see if I eat those words. Yeah, everything seems to be going by as usual. One thing you do, would you notice that? I guess you might actually, just because of your enhanced sight, thanks to the Great Mother's blessing. Normally you wouldn't in this lighting, but because of that, one thing you notice is that Dolphine kind of continues to look flushed. And if you do end up touching hands at some point or whatever, you'll notice that she does feel a bit warm.
I am not going to do anything with that information because I don't know what mermaids be like.
That's fair. All right.
She's got typhus. Throw her overboard.
Exactly. You just went to all the effort to find out her backstory and what's going on with her and invite her to the ship and calm her down.
She's bringing fever to our ship.
Right.
Not on my watch.
Get rid of her. Dead weight. Now when the captain's, crying blood and unconscious, that we'll deal with.
Hey, look, the
captain's important.
Time, all right?
Right,
That's not contagious.
The captain's important. Well,
as far as we know.
Exactly, we don't know.
You haven't exactly developed germ theory yet. All right.
Don't worry about it.
So that all goes smoothly. Do you and Dolphine continue to try and work on figuring out Monoanui's little language from the scrolls?
I need a break from that.
All right. So you just chat. She seems definitely more morose than normal, but she does seem that she's kind of getting over it. Every once in a while, you'll notice her kind of just zone out and stare out into the ocean at nothing in particular, but she seems emotionally more or less stable at this point. At least all things considered.
That's good. I mean, well, she just lost her whole family and people, so...
Right, I feel like we could give her a minute.
Yeah. Yeah, because she's definitely like it's very much notable that she is not in her usual spirits, but for obvious reasons. It's not like you're wondering if she's planning to betray you or something because it came out of nowhere. All right, so yeah, the evening goes by. You head back in to get some much needed rest. Burn Bright is up and about with his boundless enthusiasm as always. And let's get him a roll. I think I need to add him though, because he was not in the group earlier. So let's go ahead and plop him back in the stage. Go. And his perception for the night is 10. He's not paying any attention.
Gosh. Dang it.
Let's see if Dolphine is paying attention. She was paying good attention during the last shift. 25. Okay, so she rolled pretty good again. Yeah. So evidently he's quite distracted with Dolphine. Maybe that's why he's not quite as affected by Mono Anui anymore. Yeah, there's another hot chick on board now.
Oh, teenagers.
And to be fair, not to be mean to Mono Anui, who is definitely on the attractive side, Dolphine is like a whole other level, like I had mentioned before. There is no
Mono Anui.
Yeah. Mono Anui is like, the hot person from your hometown, while Dolphine is like Helen of Troy, like people would start wars over her. Beautiful.
Wow.
Mono Anui is just so last season.
A geopolitical threat. That's what I'm hearing.
Exactly.
She must be dealt with.
Yup. But yeah. So, yeah, the night goes on calmly. There are no tentacle attacks or other things, and the day rises once again.
Or tentacle sightings, as far as Dolphine saw.
Yes, Dolphine does not have any tentacle sightings to report. So, who would like to roll for today's weather? All right, I will have Jason give me the first roll then. Please roll a 1d100.
1d100 coming right up. I got an 85.
85. Calmer and wetter. So, the
Bit of both.
Yeah, the wind is like continuing to calm down, but the storm clouds actually seem to be building back up again, which will be a concern for your power generation. But we'll address that in a bit. And then let's have Molly please give me a 1d100 for the direction of the wind. Not that there's much of it.
Okay. I got a 6, but higher isn't better, right?
Yeah, in this case, actually lower is better, because in this case,
winner.
1 through 30 is slightly more favorable, 31 through 60 is slightly less favorable, and 61 through 100 is re-roll on the table.
Okay.
So getting below 30 is actually better, because that's always going to shift the wind to be more favorable.
Yeah. Okay, well, it was 6.
Nice. So it goes from unfavorable to somewhat favorable, or somewhat unfavorable. All right. And then next up, if I could, or do you guys want to wait until you've had a minute to congregate and talk before you decide on like your navigation roll and what the plan for the day is, or do you want to just go ahead and roll that first?
I mean, I think it's
heading east. Yeah.
All right, then go ahead and roll it. You will have to decide, though, because that is the question, like I mentioned. With the amount of cloud cover there is, you will not have enough solar generation to be able to travel at 5 feet both day and night. So you will either only be able to travel during the day today, or you will need to spend some time actually in the water.
And then what? So, like, if we travel at 5 feet above the water, like usual, all day, and then at the end of the day, our solar, batteries are depleted, then we won't get any more overnight.
Correct. Because
what are we gonna do tomorrow morning?
So you've expended 12 charges overnight to sail through the night. So that means you have 12 charges remaining, which means 12 hours of being able to fly at 5 feet. And then with the amount of cloud cover, you're probably going to get around 5-ish back. So technically you have around 17 hours of 5-foot flight to work with today.
Okay. But we just saw the Kraken, so I kind of think, Captain, that we should continue to go at 5 feet above the water, and then not continue overnight. And we'll save, and then we'll have like 5 hours tomorrow, and we can just kind of cross our fingers that it's sunnier.
Hopefully the sun comes back.
Yeah. Which is just like sailing in real life, where you'd be like, I hope the wind comes back.
You're not wrong.
Right?
That sounds like a plan.
So that is what we would like to do, Thomas. Do you have to secretly roll my sailing lore to see how well we do?
Mostly just in this case, like to see your ability to navigate and not get lost. In terms of your ability to execute that plan, you're good to go.
Yeah. Well, my sailing lore is plus 13, which you can roll at your discretion.
Right.
We didn't move overnight, but we're traveling for another, all day. So how far should I move the boat?
So tonight you're gonna sail all the way through the night and just like spend whatever time in the water you need to?
No. Sorry, I thought it was the morning now. We sailed overnight last night, and
Correct.
we didn't move the ship token because we didn't go a full half click.
Okay. And then you're only planning to sail during the day today.
Right.
Okay,
so I'm wondering how many squares that equates to on our chart.
That will be a half a square.
Okay.
Technically, it should be a little bit more because the wind isn't quite as unfavorable, but there's no real way to round it. So we'll just carry that into the next day as well. So you technically have an extra quarter of a square to go.
Got it.
Let me update your position on my secret map. And you did roll very well on your navigation check, but it's overcast. So I'll say you realized that you have drifted further north again. Or not north, south. You've drifted further south again than where you think you are, but you're not sure by how much.
Okay. I moved us a half block south. Because that's my estimation, and I'm the navigator.
All right, sounds good. I should say, Manawanui, before we actually hit daytime, completely skipped over what do you want to spend your, because I assume you're still just going to sleep the 4 hours, so you've got half of your night to do something.
Yeah. Well, first things first. I'm going to check on my hand, see if being underwater, I didn't really have time to look at it, but see if that affected it at all. Is it the entire finger or the entire hand?
What was that?
Is it the entire finger or the entire hand?
At this point, it is your left hand. It started out on the tip of your index finger, so your pointing finger, if I am remembering that name correctly. And it initially had kind of gone down to about just below the first joint. And then over the coming days and weeks, it had slowly spread to where it is down below the you might know what these parts of the hands are called. The like the pad of your hand, like the little bump right underneath your fingers. Do you know what I'm talking about? Before it hits your palm.
I know what you mean.
So
Like
it had gotten
are.
yeah. So it had gotten to that's a good point. I'll just do it from the back of the hand. That'll make it a little easier. So it had gotten to just below the knuckle level on your index finger and had spread a bit sideways to where now from just below the knuckle of your middle finger to up to around the first joint on your middle finger is now skeletal. So your entire index finger, part of your hand, and then a little under half of your ring finger or your middle finger are now skeletal. Strangely, the flesh part of your middle finger that is like just sticking off a bone is fine.
Just chilling.
Yeah, it's just chilling. It's not like it's, somehow dying like it should be. It's just chilling there, still alive.
It's like
somehow.
No blood's getting this, so it shouldn't be working, but it's like,
exactly.
Whatever.
But it is, and it hasn't it's not discolored and green or necrotic or anything like that. But it is, bone below that. You do have sensation and are able to move your hands still. So other than your fingers having become kind of like more awkward to use, since they're all just bony and don't have the pad now, obviously that doesn't matter since you just put the glove on and it's pretty much the same as wearing gloves anyway. But when the gloves are off, so it
creepy.
is harder to use, but you can still use it normally.
So the tip of her finger is like normal and like clearly has blood in it, even though there's no veins connecting it to like her heart.
Correct. Like it looks like, it's pale because Mono Inui is pale to begin with. But otherwise the flesh, even the part that is completely disconnected from any other flesh, still seems healthy.
That's wild.
Well, in lieu of, I made the connection to the book causing this, right? The more I read from the book.
You specifically were told by Topple.
Okay. That's right.
Before the whole, visiting his realm and the ensuing drama.
Yeah, eye bleeding.
Yeah, but he did tell you that, learning the secrets of that book required sacrifice.
I just wish I could sacrifice someone else,
That's what you told him, and he said that is possible if you're able to find a fitting sacrifice for the book to act in your stead, that he believed that was possible.
I'm gonna be looking for other types of small animals, like rats or something. If not rats, then fish or whatever.
Yeah.
Midnight the cat is catching and probably playing with rats before he fully kills them.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's probably not too many on your boat just because Midnight is there keeping them under control, and so it's probably gonna be pretty difficult to find. What do you what?
Can I try? So I've got a feat called Train Animals. Okay. Can I try and train Midnight to bring me live mice?
Absolutely.
Or small creatures. All right. Do I have to roll something for that?
I believe so.
Let's see. You spend basic action. GM determines the DC of any check required and amount of training time. Usually, it's impossible to teach an animal check unless that uses critical thinking.
Yeah, it looks like it's a nature roll. Yes, a nature
That would be-
check.
And it looks like you determined the DC.
Yes, indeed I do. What is your level of training in nature?
Plus 10.
Are you even trained in nature? Let's see.
I got a plus 10.
Yes, you are trained in nature. So if you look, you see how there's like 1 dot and then a T? That means trained.
Oh, yeah.
You can see survival, 2 dots and an E. That means you're an expert. And then the ones that are no dots, even though they have numbers, they have no dots and say you, that means you're untrained. So that's what I was asking.
I am an expert in boneyard lore, though.
Yeah. And to be fair, finally applicable when it comes to your hand, at least.
I was actually gonna say, can I roll boneyard lore and see if I like can determine anything to like restore the flesh, or like what kind of sacrifices, or like how to sacrifice to like a book to get it to like not eat my flesh?
No, only because there's no way that you would have that information, so it doesn't make any sense for you to just magically realize it from a roll.
That day.
But yes, you can roll, you can go ahead and roll your nature if you would like to try and train Midnight to bring you little surprises.
I shall. I got a 22.
All right. It's pretty good. Obviously, training an animal is a thing that takes time, so I will say that you have started to work on enforcing those behaviors, but not something that is going to start working overnight.
Nice.
All right. Otherwise, are you you staying clear of the book? Are you gonna start trying some sacrifices with what you can find on the boat?
I'm gonna start like whenever I get like find or get a small creature, like maybe like a fish or something like that. Anything that's alive, I'm gonna try and sacrifice to the book.
Okay.
Maybe,
Without
like,
having,
its
unless you
blood
want
on
to
it.
have done some preparation to have something available tonight, there wouldn't be anything that really fits the bill just available on the boat.
We don't have any like live fish.
Mm-mm. No, you have, your packed supplies, but they are definitely dead.
Sad day.
Now, if you want to go on the ship and be like, "Hey, Dolphin, can you fish me one of those flying fish out of the ocean with your water magic?" Like, there are ways you could get them.
Actually.
There just are nothing. There isn't anything currently available.
That's exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go up to Dolphin and be like, hey, I just need is there where you can get me some live fish?
Yeah. I mean, we could go like fishing tomorrow if you wanted us to. We were able to definitely get some good stuff last time Ip and I went out.
Yeah. If you could just next time we go fishing, just bring back some live fish.
Okay. And you want to like start an aquarium or something?
Yeah. Something like that. Just want to study fish. See how, going underwater, seeing your city.
Yeah.
It's a real eye opener about how much of the life is not on solid ground but underwater. So
Yeah,
figured it'd be
absolutely.
something good to know.
What kind of size are you looking for? Like, and she'll hold up, something like the size of like a clownfish or something, like a little one, or you need like a tuna, or I guess you wouldn't be able to fit a tuna in your room. Like a sailfish.
Anything like small to medium size. I'm gonna say like, between half a foot and like 4 feet. No, 4 feet's a bit excessive. 3 feet.
Okay. Yeah, we'll keep an eye out tomorrow and, prepare some pots we can keep them in. Just make sure when you're moving them over, you need to, adjust the temperatures slowly. So make sure that whatever temperature the water of your tank is, you kind of, slowly switch out the water between the two containers to get them used to it. And then you're able to move them over. Just some basic, like, fish tank advice. She would, I assume, know these things.
Thanks. I appreciate it. Maru's going to go prepare a fish tank as well.
All right. So yes, that would probably take up your evening. So after that, you go to bed and you find yourself in a dream. Vaguely, you're remembering still the fever dreams that you had while you were unconscious, and you remember, out of character, I should say, if you remember what those dreams were, you were kind of like floating around, and you were over all these landscapes that were these like repeated, very even areas, and there were figures moving around underneath you, working on, it was hard to say what, and there were these perfectly rectangular buildings that were belching smoke, and eventually you had realized that the lines of whether they were streets or what, but everything was kind of aligned on these grids. You realized it wasn't actually a grid, but that it seemed to congregate toward a central point, and you headed for that, and eventually saw this impossibly large pit in the ground, and inside of it was some sort of figure. So back in character, so you're dreaming, and it's somewhat reminiscent of that, and you find yourself now no longer floating, but instead in your actual form, and you're walking along this dry, colorless gray area, made of some sort of stone, but not shaped naturally. Instead, everything is perfectly smooth and even. And you're walking along, very confused about where you might be, when suddenly you pass a building and it opens up, and you can see not only the sky ahead of you, but some short distance off, you can see that the ground just disappears into this massive black hole in the ground. And you walk closer, and before, as this floating spirit, you hadn't been able to grasp any sort of scale. Now you realize that these buildings that looked like toy blocks below you are massive structures that even the temples that you have seen are easily put to shame by these massive gray rectangular box-like buildings, and the hole in the ground ahead of you is just impossibly large. You can't even see the other side of it from where you're standing, as if it were an ocean of darkness. But same as before, you can see there in the center some kind of figure, and part of you is trying to peer in closer, that curiosity that has always been, one of your best and worst traits. But part of you is hoping that you won't be able to make out what it is. And you're just leaning over closer when very suddenly a blaring siren, just this, again, impossibly loud noise goes off. In fact, it's less a noise than it is a feeling, as almost immediately shooting pain goes just searing into your head as your eardrums rupture, and you can feel blood slowly trickling from your ears. And not only can you feel this noise, but it is so impossibly loud that you start to feel your bones shatter inside of your body. And just as you are starting to think that you can't take any more of this pain, as you're collapsing onto the ground, you see one of the eyes of the figure opens, and this bright red light shoots out. And then with a gasp and a suppressed whimper, you wake up sweating in your bed sheets.
Good Lord. That's a lot to digest.
All right, so with that cheerful note, now it's actually daytime.
That's not ominous at all.
I mean, hey, maybe you should have thought twice before you accepted an offer to see the realm of, some very suspicious and powerful being who had warned you multiple times that he was keeping you out of things for your own protection.
look, better to know, you know?
What a nice guy. Topple it.
Right? He was just giving you what you asked for.
Really underrated fellow.
Yeah, you know, boss of the year. You got to get him one of those number one boss mugs.
Is gonna actually check her ears for blood.
Thankfully, you seem to be fine.
Oh, good.
You are. I don't know if you've had dreams where you do get like super hurt and you kind of like wake up and it's almost like you have like a cramp, where there's almost a lingering pain. You have that sensation, but in terms of actual injuries, there are none.
That's good. I don't know how many times I can tell people, don't worry about the blood coming from my face. It is all okay.
Exactly.
At some point, people are going to get suspicious.
Yeah, at some point. Hopefully we haven't. Not yet, though. They're still like, it's just mono anyway. Blood coming from the eyes,
Tuesday again.
It's just that time of month, guys. She's just built different like that.
Exactly.
Sometimes girls are just like that.
Yeah,
exactly.
Hashtag girl stuff.
Right. I mean, nobody knows how girls actually work, so.
I mean,
Burn Bright at the very least could be convinced.
Yeah.
Mako's a girl, she knows.
I was gonna say, there is Mako. We might have to get rid of Mako.
And Dolphine.
Cover.
Right. Go back to the.
Dolphine's not like human though. So it's like, oh, it's just swamp people thing. She's like, oh, okay, swamp people.
Fair. All right, but yeah, it is now daytime for reals.
And no Krakens.
Yep, no Krakens as of yet.
Well, I'm gonna go up and hopefully see the sun. Do I see the sun?
Not immediately when you wake up, but you can see the horizon beginning to lighten.
Oh, good.
And it's not an ominous red single orb in the sky.
I was gonna say. Like, guys, trust me, we need to turn around.
Wait, I'm confused, I think, about the timeline of things. I thought that we talked about what we were going to do during the day for sailing, and then I thought Thomas was like, oh, wait, what are we doing with Manu during her half night that she gets to be awake? So that's
Correct.
That's the previous night. So yeah, so you wake up and it's like cloudy because we established that it's cloudy today.
Yeah. Now it is the day that we've already discussed. We got the weather rolled. We've decided where you're going. But yes, I did have to go back because I forgot to do that a little bit with Mono Inui.
That's fine. That's how I put it in my notes. I reorganized things, but then it seemed like Abe was confused.
I thought like maybe we'd be running out of power, so I was like, oh no. Not yet though.
Yeah, not
today.
Tomorrow.
All right, so we've rolled the weather. We kind of established that it's wetter, more clouds. The wind is slightly shifted in your favor, but is pretty still, so it's not helping or hurting you. Excuse me, not helping or hurting you by that much. What would people like to do with their day? Mono Inu or Akalupu. We'll say that if you want to continue working with your little pinhole projector, you can be, start to actually like figure out, oh, this is kind of neat. Look what I figured out how to do.
Yes, that's what I'm doing.
All right, so Junior is messing around with his little, bits of parchment that he's got on the end of a stick. He's just spinning around, chuckling to himself.
Well, Mono Inui is going to go up to Ip and like, hey, why don't you guys go fishing? We need to keep up our stores of fish.
I'll go fishing, but why are you so eager to get rid of me?
No, I just know you went fishing last time. So I figured, you and Dolphine would be the best people for the job.
Okay, yum. Fresh fish for dinner sounds delicious. I'm not at all suspicious of you.
My thoughts exactly. Like, I'm suspicious enough for us both, so you don't have to be suspicious at all. I've assumed all the responsibility of being suspicious. Don't even worry about it.
What a great captain.
Exactly. I'm just looking out for you guys. Sacrificing my own peace of mind.
So yeah, I am actually going to go fishing because that sounds like a good idea.
All right. So you and Dolphine are able to once again hop in the little deployable boat underneath, and let's get a couple of survival rolls to see what kind of luck you have. Dolphine got a 21.
I got 12.
All right.
Delphine is crushing it tonight.
So yeah, Dolphine definitely seems to be, doing a little better spotting things. You do notice, especially now in the daytime, she is definitely flushed, and she seems to be breathing a little bit harder than necessary. Like things are, more taxing than they really should be normally. But otherwise, you guys are able to get some good fish. So with her roll, unfortunately yours isn't good enough to assist. But with her roll, that would be enough food for 2 people for a day. 1 slot is enough food for, what is your max crew? 8 people for a day, so that gets you 1/4 of a slot. So we'll go ahead and put F in slot 1.
F.
Yeah.
And was she able to capture any live fish?
Good point. Because that's going to reduce the amount of food you actually get out of it. Yeah, we'll just round it in, because there's no way to, like...
I mean, are you telling us that you're taking our live fish, or are you just stealing it out of...
Well, Dolphine, she did specifically ask Dolphine to do it, so Dolphine will tell you at some point, you'll be like, what are those pots for? And she's like, oh, Manawanui said she wanted us to catch her some live fish for a fish tank.
Man, and she let me believe that we were feasting tonight.
That's okay. We'll keep all the tasty ones. I think she just wants pretty ones like this, and she'll pull out like a lionfish. You wouldn't want to eat this thing. They're poisonous.
That's a good point.
So
we're just trying to keep you guys safe from the poison fish.
Yeah, we'll say she catches like a lionfish and a few sardines. So you have 2 small fish and 1 kind of medium fish, depending on, in terms of fish tank fish, 2 small and 1 medium. In terms of like ocean fish, all of them are small. Yeah. So otherwise, fairly successful fishing trip, and you guys can return to the boat.
The boat.
Go ahead and subtract the F and one of the D's. Go. So that updates your food usage for today. I do keep forgetting to do that.
When Dolphine gives me the fish, before we end the day, Lana Ardui's gonna be like, "Hey, you seem kind of tired and flushed. You coming down with something?"
Yeah, I was gonna say, because last night, I don't believe you have any particular like dark vision. I think you might have low light vision to where you can see slightly better in like low light conditions, but not in actual darkness, and also in black and white at that point. So you wouldn't have noticed last night when you were asking her about the fish, but yeah, by this point you would definitely be able to notice that she seems a little under the weather.
You looking a little peakish. Think you need to take a rest?
I don't know. I don't feel too bad. I do feel kind of warm though. I don't know. My energy levels are kind of okay so far though.
Have you ever been out of the water this long?
Well, it depends if you count just since we returned from the ocean, yes. If you mean in aggregate over the last few weeks, definitely no.
Do you think maybe you need to like spend some time in the water, or?
I don't know. Maybe.
Why would she be worse after we spent time in the water, though?
This is true, right? Because that's right.
Yeah, Mako makes a good point over there from the helm. Good thing we were standing near enough to hear her.
Mako was like, hey,
Sorry.
guys.
No, you're good. I'm going to now say that is the case and that it is part of the conversation.
Deal.
You know, why don't you take a few days off and just rest? I don't know how that works since you don't sleep, but you can physically rest.
I guess I can try. It sounds pretty boring, though, to be honest. I'm not great at sitting still for very long.
I'll have a Poi Pip keep looking. Oh, Poi Pip's the quartermaster, right?
Yes.
Have a Poi Pip check on you occasionally. Make sure you don't. Just to see how you're doing.
Okay.
I do know some good healing spells.
Indeed you do.
In fact, I'm going to call for a Poi Pip. I'm like, Poi Pip. I don't know why it sounded like I was calling for a dog.
Here, boy, Poi Pip.
Woof, woof.
Hey, do you mind just taking a look at Delphine, seeing if she's, to the best of your medical or healing knowledge?
Dr. Ip reporting for duty.
Because out of character, like, even though we don't know about germ theory, like, people knew about fevers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, what to do about them and, what causes them, you don't know, but, like, you would definitely be able to recognize a fever.
Yeah.
Well, they have healing magic.
Yeah.
So I feel like they maybe would know what to do about them. Use healing magic.
True. Yes. If you have the correct spells for specifically, so there are two different types of spells. Like the ones that are used for healing damage would not cure diseases, but there are spells that are specifically for curing diseases that you could use for this kind of a situation.
Okay.
But just like chugging a health potion wouldn't help. But yeah, Jason, if you would like to roll medicine, you may do so.
May the medical gods bestow wisdom upon me. I'm gonna hear up that.
Dun, dun, dun.
Nat 20.
Dang!
Nice.
It's a 31.
Yes.
All right. So yeah, so you meditate with your talisman for a minute and lay on hands and do all your kind of like magic scanning for what's going on. And it seems that the energies within her are imbalanced. And that seems to be what is causing this fever.
Does anybody have any leeches?
Right, too much yellow. You probably know this, Abe. What was that? Because they're the bile.
Yellow bile.
That's it. The yellow bile.
She needs to throw up some more. All right, Poi Pip, balance her energies.
Yeah, I don't really have anything for that. I think you need to do some yoga and get in touch with your chakras or something.
Okay. I don't know what any of that means.
Balance out your fire with some water.
Okay, but I don't know how, though. I guess maybe this happened after, well, I had a bit of an episode in front of everyone.
What do you mean? An emotional episode?
Well, I don't know. When I was yelling at you know who, it felt like, that there was an outflowing of this chaotic energy that I don't normally have, but it just kind of overwhelmed me and I ended up collapsing from it.
Yeah, sounds like maybe your fire aura is outweighing your water aura at
Yeah, you said you had some way to help with that, with stretches or something?
Yeah, mostly meditation and some stretching. We'll have you back to normal in no time.
All right. So we'll assume that you start teaching her the, stretching and meditation stuff that your tribe does. Do you want to start that immediately, or are you going to wait until like everyone has to do it in the mornings regardless, unless you want to, have a kapu called on you? So I've been assuming that everyone has just been doing it.
Yeah. Of course.
Let's have a teaching session right now. Can't hurt to be more stretchy.
Yeah. Mono Anui, have you not been?
Mono Anui, of course, has been doing it. She would never break the kapu like that.
Okay, but for real though, out of character as GM, I need to know.
Of course, yeah.
Okay.
Mono Anui does it with a junior. I assume after living together so long, they've got some sort of a routine.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure.
Burnbright's like, it's cool if Gur does it for me, right?
I get a feeling that every once in a while Burnbright does run afoul of the kapu, and you guys have to hear him whinging all day about whatever consequences he's living with. He's like, yeah, I should probably do it with you guys too. Maybe it'll make old Gramps leave me alone. Leave me alone. Shame.
Not stretching in the morning is a pretty self-fulfilling punishment. I know from experience.
Yeah, I know. I keep telling Gramps over there, like, I've already suffered enough, man. Like, just chill. Some mornings I just want to, like, lay in bed for an extra hour or whatever. But no.
It's good for you. You don't want those aches and pains, not to mention the shame.
Shame. All right, so yeah, everyone goes ahead and who wants to, of course, is able to participate in some stretching and meditation. And afterward, Dolphine says, I do think I feel a little bit better. You said to close your eyes and like focus your breathing and like feel the energy flowing through you. And I kind of looked within and I feel like there's, I don't know, like a hole or like a portal inside of me that like connects somewhere. And I feel like maybe that's where these energies from the water and the fire are coming from. And maybe if I can understand it better, I can balance it.
Whoa.
But right now it feels like they're fighting each other, as opposites.
Out of character, you should definitely look deep into those portals. Don't worry about it. I'm sure that everything will work out great.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure a portal's not going to manifest on our ship and just like bring us all into the void.
Yeah, I love when portals open up inside of you and give you magic powers, and they're from opposing forces that are waging some kind of war, perhaps through the portal.
Yeah. Yeah, and now she has mentioned before that the water one, like her ability to control water, is something she's had since childhood. So Like, these aren't super new, other than the fire. The fire is a new, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but it's a new thing. Yeah, new development.
Is it for sure new, or I thought that maybe she just had never been out of the water?
Well, I don't really know for sure.
Turned to steam under the water.
Yeah. No, actually, interestingly,
she can straight up fire underwater.
Exactly.
Oh,
That's
right.
something I was going to say. That was something you noticed when she had her little episode, was that it was just straight up fire underwater. And that's something even Mana Wanui can't do. Like, her fire spells don't function underwater. But Dolphine's fire was perfectly fiery. It didn't just like fizzle off into steam or something. There was actual fire under the water burning.
I see. So then that does seem like the fire is brand new, because like she would have noticed if she was underwater.
Yeah, at least it's a new development from anything that I've seen so far. I mean, yeah, the water I've been kind of able to do since I was pretty young. I don't know. I guess it probably started when my brother died. But the fire, that only happened when I was here on the ship and I started seeing it in your galley.
Right. That makes sense. I recall now.
Yeah, she does seem to be better, and she does look better. Like, even, you know, her kind of heavy breathing and stuff has seemed to go down. She's less flushed. So, definitely does seem to have helped.
I don't believe it. Your kooky Eastern medicine worked, Jason.
It's not kooky. It's divine.
Maybe you should just meditate with us every morning.
Yeah, I really think I should. I'll join you.
Probably wouldn't hurt.
Yeah, to be honest, I've kind of felt left out as it is, so this is for the best.
So you guys are like doing it because or else your ancestors will be mad.
You are
where you're from.
You are part of the tribe also, so you are also stuck with these kapu.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Yeah, so basically, your tribe has traditions. Kapu is something that I've taken directly from Polynesian culture, where each tribe kind of has, it's basically a taboo, things that you don't do. And so these are like culturally enforced things that happen to also have a very tangible and clear effect, where your ancestors do seem to care, and various misfortunes will befall you for breaking the kapu, even in secret. People have been struck by lightning. People have had coconuts fall on them in various, Rube Goldberg ways. There's the classic ancestor showing up with a stick and just hitting you and shouting shame at you all day.
Okay,
yeah, that's what Jason's former character was super religious at the end, is because he got hit with the supernatural punishment one too many times.
Struck by lightning.
Yup.
Okay, I remember us talking about this when you were first introducing me to the game.
Yeah, and if you ever want to check what the kapu are, if you go into the journal section, there is a kapu list as one of the handouts. I can go ahead and share that out to everyone. But I believe that is up to date. Yes, it looks like it is correct. And then each generation, you're able to kind of transform those, where you can remove 2 of the negative kapus and add 1 positive one. Because negative ones are like things that don't give you any bonuses and are generally inconvenient. The positive ones may or may not be inconvenient, but do give you some sort of bonuses. So you can see, like, for the stretching, you guys get a +1 to athletics checks when applicable, and for your meditation, you get a +1 to will saves when applicable.
Okay.
Which
Hey, Manu Anui, PDA is not allowed. Making out with people.
It's true. But was it affection or
yeah, purely mechanical?
Public display of magical powers.
Exactly. See, that's totally fine. You know, as long as you're doing it as part of your like ritual sex cult, it's fine. Just as long as there's no feelings involved. Once the feelings get involved, then it's a problem.
Oh man.
There's no affection.
When we find a new island, we have to circle it 3 times.
Yep.
That's going to become relevant to us. Hopefully, at some point.
Oh yeah, like when you guys when they first showed up to the Unicorns Island and were circling it randomly, they definitely got some attention of people coming out and be like, what the heck are you doing? That's actually how they met Ip's mother, Yasuka. Was she was one of the guards that came out and was like, the heck are y'all doing? You better not be with those cocoa biters.
That's how you make a baby.
Exactly.
Okay, but the circling thing is good for me to know as navigator.
Yeah.
But that's cool. Thank you for reminding me and for showing me where the Kapu list is.
Yeah. Luckily, they got rid of the one that got them the most times was the last generation had a Kapu where opposite genders were not allowed to eat within sight of each other.
Oh, right. I remember you guys telling me that.
Yeah, that caught people more than once.
That one was so hard.
Yeah, that was the first one. When we did this generation, y'all were like, okay, that one's gone. All right, so yeah, back to things. So meditation is done. Delphine definitely seems to be better. Mono Anui, you probably did not join in on the meditation since I imagine you're over there, you know, getting your fish set up and messing around with them instead.
Making sure they live a long and happy life, living their fish tank without dying.
Exactly. Anything else people would like to do with their day? All right. Then we will go ahead and head into the evening. Are we doing the same order for night shifts?
I assume so.
All right, and then you are going into the water to preserve the 5-ish charges that you still have left?
Will that get us through the night?
If you are going into the water, you will not be spending any charges, so you will
No, but if we stayed above the water,
it will not get you through the whole night. 1 charge is 1 hour at 5 feet. So with 5 charges, you can stay 5 feet for 5 hours.
What do you think, Helmsman? Do we just bite the bullet, or do we just stay out of the water as long as possible?
I guess if you really want, I would let you say that you're 3 feet above the water all night, and then it's completely drained in the morning.
I think we should save the 5 hours for tomorrow in case we don't have any sun. I think that we haven't seen any sign of the Kraken, except for Burnbright mentioning that he saw it a couple of days ago, but we've been sailing since then, and he's not very trustworthy anyway. Just joking.
Yeah, and to be clear, he said he saw tentacles. So whether or not it's Kraken is, like, you don't
like 99%.
Yeah. He did say they were, like, thigh size.
Do you want? Yeah, they're about the size of a human leg. Do you want to have him describe them to Delphine at some point to see what she thinks about it?
Yeah, we should have done that already.
Yeah. Yes.
All right, so we'll have him do that. And she says, that really doesn't sound like a Kraken. Definitely not a full-grown one, at least. Maybe a giant squid?
Yeah, we can handle a giant squid. So I think we should go into the water and just chill and do not go anywhere overnight. And so then we'll have 5 hours tomorrow in case it's still cloudy. We can get, I don't know, somewhere. At least we won't be, like, totally stranded. It seems risky to use up everything.
Yeah. And if we don't move, hopefully that won't draw any unwanted attention to us.
Yeah, sure.
If we don't move in the water.
Yeah, a cork bobbing on the surface of the water definitely isn't giving off any ripples or anything that anyone would notice. She's totally safe.
Don't worry about it.
All right, so you guys settle down into the water and plan to stay put for the night, or do you want to sail through the night? Like, you technically can, just in the water. You made your boat on purpose to be able to do both.
You know what? Yeah, I mean, why not?
All right, then I will say that given the extra quarter that we rounded down last time, plus today, the night's travel, you can go ahead and move yourself another half a square. Let me go ahead and update my end. All right. Yeah, so, Ip, are you taking first or second wash tonight?
I'll first watch again.
All right. Doing anything tonight or just chilling again?
No, I'm back to learning.
All right, so let's get the perception checks first.
I got a 28.
Nice. All right, Dolphine is distracted this time. She got a 13. Kind of works out, honestly, that you have two people on watch now that Dolphine is just there and never sleeps, because someone is more likely to roll well when there's two people.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, let's see. Oh! Yeah, that's fine. I forgot to have y'all roll on the random events table. We'll just skip it for today and we'll do one tomorrow. That's fine. Unless y'all really, really just itching to roll for something.
I crave randomness. No, I'm just joking.
All right. Sounds like people are good just skipping, so we'll do that. But yeah, so don't think there's anything you would see tonight, so yeah. Night passes by pretty smoothly. And then let's get intelligence checks from you and Dolphine, see if you're able to make any more progress on reading. Dolphine did not.
Intelligence.
Dolphine rolled a 2, and she has a +1 in intelligence, so that's a 3.
I got an 11.
All right, so
Not
the two of
great.
you, yeah, like you guys had. Oh yeah, it's one of those where like you had started to get in the groove of it and started to figure some things out, but then there's been all this distraction lately, and things have been crazy, and you feel like you're just like struggling to even remember what you'd already figured out. So
these are words.
Yes, words, and they say things about, I think, how great Manawanui is given the pictures. And look up and there's Manawanui standing with 1 foot on top of I don't know, what enemy have you immortalized yourself defeating?
Okay, let me think. Did I kill the ghost? Oh no, we just kind of ran away from the ghost.
Yeah, well, maybe that's something you rewrote. Is it you just like doing a Gandalf "You shall not pass" on the ghosts that almost like burrowed into you and ruined you from the inside?
I did intimidate the crap out of them.
So yeah, so it's like these horrifying looking ghosts that basically their rib cages like spread out and like are these like twitchy centipede looking like sharp appendages reaching toward it, but they're all cowered and twisted back in fear as Manawanui is holding out one hand and a bright beam of light is just, you know, expanding from it. All right. Yeah, not a lot of progress on reading. Let's see. Go ahead and roll for Burn Bright on his watch. He just got a nat 1, so Burn Bright didn't see
Asleep at the wheel.
nothing. Pretty much. Like whatever he's doing, he is not paying attention to what's going on around him. But yeah. Manawa Nui, what are you up to with your nighttime?
What we're doing is going to take her live fish, and sacrifice it to the book. She's gonna bring the book out.
Okay.
And she's
Open
going
or
to
closed?
hold. Ooh, that is the question. Open. But like,
right.
I'm not looking. I'm not trying to read. You know what I mean?
I will still need a will save for you to open the book.
Yikes. But I figured if we spill the blood directly onto the pages, that's gotta be better. Where the heck did I put that? There we go. Will save. All right. 21.
All right. As usual, you've become somewhat numbed to the effect of the book, the crippling nausea and everything that comes along with it. So it's there, but you're able to kind of like force it to the back of your mind and just push through with sheer willpower. And you said you're like avoiding looking at the page, just kind of like.
So at least until after I spill the blood of the fish onto the page. Right. I'll look then, but like I'm not before that happens. I ain't trying to look or read.
Yeah. Yeah. So you grab the fish, slit it open with one of your obsidian knives, I imagine.
Yes. Over the book and let the blood kind of drip onto the page. And then I look. Is anything happening?
So you look as the kind of like reddish, clearish, brackish blood of the fish spills out over onto the page. And you see it drip off of the page like water rolling off of a duck's back. Seems to be, if anything, fully rejecting it.
That sucks. All right. I'm gonna close the book and try and put some blood on the cover and see if that does anything.
All right. It seems like the cover, it doesn't roll off in the same way that it does on the pages, but it seems like leather getting wet with blood.
Okay. Nothing supernatural.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
In fact, there's now yet another stain on the cover.
No one will notice but me.
Oh yeah, no, it'll drive you crazy, but no one else will notice.
Yeah. I'm gonna dispose of the remainder of the fish.
All right, which fish did you use? You have 2 sardines and the lionfish.
Lionfish. I used the sardine.
Okay. Yeah, that's kind of what I thought I should have asked first, but yeah, so you're easily able to dispose of the small fish, whether that's.
Also, I'm gonna clean up the blood that apparently it rolled off the book and like onto the surroundings.
Yeah.
I imagine.
Yeah, I assume that you have it up on the stand. The book is too large for you to like even hold in one hand, so.
Yeah.
Unless you put it on the floor or something, I'm assuming you have it up on the little lectern that you read it on.
Alright, I'm gonna clean up the blood from the stand. I think maybe it needs something bigger, or maybe it needs a mammal. I'm gonna try and think about that.
Yeah. All right. Well, otherwise, luckily, you don't have quite as horrifying of a dream tonight, though you do wake up still troubled by half-remembered dreams. But it was at least nothing quite so sharp that like when you wake up from a dream, usually you remember it a lot more contrast than like something that you dreamt at some point before you woke up. So all of your dreams are still a half-remembered muddle of darkness and bad things, but you don't remember any details from it.
I'm gonna write down what I do know, by the way, what I do remember. onto in my script, onto my papers.
Yeah.
My papers.
Sounds good. All right. Yeah, otherwise, we have the dawn of a new day. Let's go ahead and get weather checks. Abe, go ahead and give me a 1D100.
1D100. Coming right. R space 1D1. 31.
All right, let's see. So a 31 is drier. So it's still overcast, but it's no longer actively rainy.
Then do I need to give you another one for the wind?
Unless Anna wants to do it.
Her hands are full.
All right, then go for it.
7.
Hey, 7. You've shifted the winds to somewhat favorable now. You just need to get them a little bit stronger.
I believe in us.
But for today, things are bad. So do we get any sun charge through the cloud cover?
It's cleared up a little bit, and there are probably a few stretches where, you do get some clearings in the kind of like overcast weather. So I'll say today you're able to get 10 charges. So you would have enough that you could run all day at elevation, or if you spent the entire day in the water, you could end the day with 15.
Spend the day in the water and then fly at night. Because then that way, at night, when I feel like we're more vulnerable, we'll have more protection.
I like that plan.
All right, and is the plan to sail day and night once again?
Of course.
Think so, yeah. We don't have endless food, although we do have a good stockpile.
Yeah.
Thanks to moi.
We do have endless food. It's just not good if we have to make food with spells.
True.
Okay.
Yeah, you're not gonna starve. You just might not be terribly enthusiastic about mealtime.
Okay, that's good. But our goal is to find land, so let's try and sail.
All right.
Okay, so you said that we could sail, yes, in the water all day, and then above the water all night, because you said, well, 15 charges, does that equate to 15 hours? So if we sail all night at 5 feet, then we'll have 3 left over in the morning?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, and I went and rolled your navigation check. So see, the problem is most of your ability to do actual navigation with any detail requires the stars. And with it being overcast, you're not getting much of that. So
yeah,
while you're able to definitely get a feel of where you are, you're not getting details. So you're still basically the same as yesterday, where you're pretty sure that you've gone south further than you intended to. Probably like the storm was blowing you south, so even that, like, you just expected was going to happen, but you're not sure by how much.
Would it help if I cast no direction?
Not really, because that wouldn't help you pinpoint your actual what's up and down. Is that latitude or longitude?
Uh,
I think I heard Abe say longitude.
Goes from pole to pole. Latitude goes around.
Yeah, latitude is what we'd be looking at now.
I had a prof once tell me latitude fatitude, because fat is going across like the center. So that's how I remember it.
Okay, so it's your latitude is up and down. Or should I say
Yeah,
north and
like
south?
we know we're pointed east, which is
Yeah.
all that your spell could teach us.
Yeah, like you know which direction you're facing. You're fine on that. You just can't actually get a good feel of exactly where you are in relation to like the islands around you, because that's essentially how you would navigate.
None of us can fly, can we?
Ip and Burn Bright both can.
Yeah, but the clouds are probably like pretty high up.
I don't think they can fly like that.
You go to like go up to a cruising altitude of 30,000 feet. And, tell me what the stars look like.
Right, and bring Mako with you on your back while you're doing it. Also,
Yeah, we'll just get some oxygen masks. Don't worry about it.
Mako does not like this plan.
But yeah, this is not like a low-lying fog currently. This is overcast, so it would not be something you could just sail or just fly over.
That would be fun, though.
Oh yeah, if it's ever just like fog, absolutely, that's a thing you could do.
Great. So based on I believe we said slightly more favorable winds, are we moving, is my perception that we're moving over the course of the day and the night, plus our quarter of a thing that we had carried over. Like 1 square, 1.5 squares.
1 square.
Great. And I'm also going to move us another half square south, since it sounds like I still think that my estimates were too far north.
All right.
Awesome.
That's good. But in terms of your actual sailing, you are continuing to go due east.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
Let me update my map. All right. So it's a new day. What would you like to do?
Well, yeah, I just want to go get more fish. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
Mano Nui, how's your aquarium coming along?
It's going really well. The sardine and the lionfish are getting along really, really well.
Oh, wasn't there 2 sardines before?
Yeah, but I think I switched him over too quick because he unfortunately didn't make it.
Yeah, that'll happen sometimes. Fish can be surprisingly sensitive.
Well, just make sure they have enough space.
Yeah, and watch out for that lionfish. The other sardine, probably not long for this world regardless.
Oh.
They are mean predators.
That's good to know. I don't know, he's gonna stroke her imaginary beard. Fondly.
Yeah, but do you send people out fishing once again?
Yeah, we can always use more fish. Restocked.
Oh yeah. Dolphine, of course, will have joined you for meditation in the morning, and it does seem like she's continuing to get better. And she'd been kind of avoiding using her fire abilities for the last couple of days, but she seems to be back to where she was before the whole visit to her homeland, where she's kind of like messing around with it during the day and, you know, trying to improve her ability to control it.
Well, as she said, fish can be surprisingly sensitive.
And let's get survival rolls from Ip and Delphine again. And Junior, if you would like to join them fishing, you're more than welcome and would have the skills to do so.
The more the merrier.
Junior's en route. Unmute.
We'll bring some beers.
Yeah, no, Junior's definitely going to join. He's having fun with his like pinhole, but he's also starting to go bored and get a little crazy.
Yeah. I'm just assuming that like Mano Anui is above such things, and Mako is obviously busy steering the ship.
Of course.
Yes.
All right.
Mano Anui doesn't catch the food. Mano Anui eats the food.
Exactly.
That's
That's what peasants are for. All right. Dolphin got a 20 on survival.
I got a 10.
I'm waiting for Hero Lab to load because it decided I'd been clicked away from that tab for too long.
Da, da, da. Yeah, Ip's like, he's not actually there to do the fishing. He's just there to, chat and have a good time. And if he catches something, great.
You said survival, right?
Correct.
$17.
All right, not bad. So that will get a little bit of extra food. So we're going to take slot 2 from just F to full ood. Or full. We're adding ood. Anyway. So that gives us some extra. And then we'll take away today's used food. So that's going to take it back to Fa. And yeah, so that's fishing done. Anything else anyone wants to get done today before we roll for our random event?
While they're fishing, Monoranui is gonna go up to Mako and be like, "See what you were saying about like having a portal inside her or 2 portals?"
Yeah, gotta say, in my experience with what I've studied of magic, it's not a great sign.
Thinking the same. Well, she seems harmless enough by her own nature, but you never know what forces might be at work.
Exactly. I feel like we've grown to. I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna say Monoranui says
Okay.
full knowledge that there are forces that work within inside of her that's not quite in her control either.
Exactly. Yeah, I've grown to trust Dolphine. I don't think that she means us any harm, but that makes me worried that maybe there's something that I don't know. I don't want to necessarily say means her harm, but we just don't have enough information at this time. And yeah, when magic is inside of people, a lot of times it's not for the best, for the health of them and the people around them.
Indeed.
Monowanui like shoos Reginald away, like a reminder that I have even something just as bad going on.
Look, my magic's in my bird, okay? Don't worry about it. It's not in me.
Exactly. Yeah, y'all just need like a wise old Uncle Iroh to be there and explain to you the ways of the world and
For real.
He'd be able to explain what was going on with Dolphine and her body changing.
I was gonna say, but if PPOP left us.
Because
Yup.
Thomas, I'm right that I was spending time with Sunbeam studying magic. I don't know if I can read or whatever, but I know stuff about how magic works.
Some for sure. Part of it is just common knowledge. I don't know how deeply you would have studied it since you would have been focused on alchemy. You would know that your magic is you are doing magic as well. That there are casters who have innate magical abilities, like sorcerers, which is what Manawanui actually used to be, where the magic is actually a part of their blood, and usually because there was some sort of magical creature way back in their bloodline, whether it's like an angel or a demon or a dragon or something like that. And then because they have this innate magical power inside of them, they're able to cast spells largely through kind of like an emotional or reactive base. And then there are other casters. You wouldn't really know anything about wizards because, that's not something that's common because that wizards specifically require the ability to write things down. And you don't have language yet. Mononui's been putting one together, but she hasn't really shared with anyone other than Ip and Dolphine, who are now learning it. And then your type of magic, rather than having innate magical power within yourself, is something that comes from the magical essence of the various reagents that you use to create your potions.
Right. So I feel like it tracks and is believable that I would be suspicious of magic that is more innate. I'm like, I keep the magic outside my body like a good Christian girl. Like,
yeah, no, that would definitely be something that would make sense for your character to feel that way.
To be like mistrustful of mistrustful.
I think either one works.
Whichever.
But yeah, and especially because of the fact that Dolphine seems to have less control over it currently, especially.
Right. From the stories that I've heard, that's just not a good sign.
Yeah, because like there are some sorcerers who never learn to control their powers and just like basically explode, destroying, a few miles of forest or something. Like that's something that you might have heard of happening.
Yeah, either you control your magic or your magic controls you. She says that out loud to Manu.
Exactly.
Kicks Reginald again. Get out of here.
Dang bird. Mono has control over her magic. Mono used to be a sorcerer, but certain events in her life happened, and a lot of transformations have happened in Mono's life.
Yeah.
Thanks to the machinations of certain entities.
Yeah. Now, because like the way things are going, generally the feel that I would get is like you had some innate magical power as a sorcerer, but it was probably very weak, and you wouldn't have been able to become strong. And then by becoming a witch and having a patron who is able to supply you power, that is how you've actually been able to become so much more magically powerful than you could have achieved on your own. I think we've lost Abe.
Yeah, his phone died. I'm just getting it to where he can hear.
Plug that bitch in.
All right, you back, Abe?
Oh my gosh.
There we go.
All right, you back? I'm gonna take that as a no.
I'm back.
Okay, cool. So I think all you missed was me just explaining that basically because you started out as a sorcerer, clearly you had some innate magical power, but it was probably very weak, and you never would have been able to become very strong as a very magically strong. But then by becoming a witch and having a patron who is able to supply you magical power, that's how you've been able to become so strong as a spellcaster.
Yeah. No, that sounds about accurate with Mono Anui's experience.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and wrap up now, because who knows what this random event will be or how long it'll take, but we've been going for about 2 hours, so we'll pick up next time with our random event. If we want to, we can do it now. It's just, I don't know how much longer we're going to be going, and I imagine people are ready to wrap up.
Okay, that's fair. And we lost Abe again.
All right, so let's see. Let's start with Mako. What have you learned?
I learned that the captain respects me a little bit as somebody to discuss not only navigation, but maybe some magic stuff with. And I'm feeling a little hot about it, a little bit big for my britches.
Yeah. Because the captain is definitely not just a role amongst equals. It does sound important, to be fair, and she is like the oldest amongst you, so that gives her some clout.
Right. I mean, even if it's not like because she's the captain, like I'm a teenager and she's clearly like kind of the matriarch of the crew.
Yeah.
And I don't mean crew as in the ship. I mean like the party, I should say.
Yeah. Even though like it's probably a little weird because like physically she looks like she's your age or maybe even a little younger.
She looks 19.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. But I mean, I have cognitive reasoning. I can
Oh,
know
yeah.
that she's older than that.
Not trying to correct you. I just wanted to point out that like it is a little bit weird because even though you know, like internally you know that she's older than you, physically and visually she looks like one of you.
Plus, I have some, relatively healthy mommy issues from hanging out with Sunbeam my whole childhood.
Exactly.
And so to have a woman on board be, approve of me in some way makes me feel good.
Absolutely. All right, and Ip. What is Ip learned?
My mommy issues are healthier than Ip's daddy issues. Let's put it like that.
Fair, very fair. Speaking of Ip,
what has Ip learned? Ip learned that fishing is fun.
Yeah,
he enjoys it.
Oh yeah, no, it's a good time. You just like chill on the water for a couple hours on your little boat and catch some fish and have a good time. If you had a few brewskis to crack open, I mean, maybe you convince. Yeah, I was gonna say maybe you can convince Mono Inui to give you some of the ale from her cauldron for your fishing trips.
Crack open a cold one.
Exactly.
For the boys.
All right. And then if Mono Inui is close enough to the mic to be able to answer, what has Mono Inui learned?
Mono Inui learned that she's not the only one with maybe some unstable activities going on with inside her. Yeah. Also, that the book doesn't like fish blood.
Yeah, no, it does not seem to appreciate the fish blood so far. Maybe the minnow's just too unimpressive,
Oh man, I think I gotta sacrifice maybe the dragonfish, or the lionfish, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Bless you.
And then what about Junior? What has Junior learned today?
Junior learned that he doesn't have to kiss Dolphine to breathe air.
Aw, shucks.
Yeah, that he was kind of disappointed.
Right. I feel like Junior is pretty torn 50-50 on like he was definitely like nervous about it, but he kind of wanted it at the same time.
Yes. No, exactly. But then he also wasn't sure if he wanted to like kiss someone right after seeing his pseudo mom kiss them. Like that was gonna make things a little weird.
Yeah.
Being a teenager is so complicated.
He just goes up to Dolphine. Are you my dad now?
Exactly. All right. Well, thanks everyone for joining me. I hope you all had a great game. I know I did, and I will see you all at the next one.